That is how the name of the SIL Security has evolved. I passed out in 1986, but with a very small scale of say 5 to 10,000 rupees, we started a business. The initial vision was to save water, and I took that as an opportunity. The product named is water level controller. Then I myself thought that this is not enough in a business. We must grow. So I started targeting for the security products, and that is how the CCTV security products came into a picture. I was the first person in Pune who started installation of security products. When I took the cameras and showed the many people, they were not ready to accept as a product. But I took over that challenge and sold several places. We sold cameras. Okay, and fortunately in 2016 we came across with SIL. I went for a seminar, and really I was surprised to see that I am lacking somewhere in a management. Like I learned from them how to delegate the people, what is the leadership quality, how to manage the people, then how to read the balance sheet. See, the best part which I studied in School of Inspirational Leadership is what is your vision. So I really defined my vision statement during those programs, and our vision statement is very clear. Whoever is associated with my company SIL Security, he should feel secured. First thing is secured, and then once he gets the security, he should be very comfortable. Then in the last seminar, I listened from Dr. Pawar about our blue ocean strategies. When we have reached to one stage in a business, there is nobody around. You should start shifting the business to some other level. All my staffs are now associated with SIL group. They are regularly attending the classes, and I've been finding out good changes in my company. I mean, there are so many good friends now. Entrepreneur friends are there with me, and I hope this journey will continue. And I can foresee that in 2018 or 19, we will definitely a number one company in Pune market.
You are unique. You are passionate. SIL salutes the rigor and dream within you. We promise to be a strong catalyst in your life.
पहले ग्रोथ प्लान नहीं था मेरे पास, चल रहा था बिजनेस जो चल रहा था. आज टुडे आई हैव ग्रोथ प्लान विद नंबर्स, which I did not have previously. That is the major difference. And otherwise it was a very good and nice experience. Look forward to gain more and more for further future sessions. Thanks.
I'm Kaushal Thakkar, and आने से पहले मेरा माइंड में क्लियर नहीं था कि मुझे अपने बिजनेस को कैसे आगे बढ़ाना है. बट नाउ आई हैव अ क्लियर आइडिया, आई हैव अ फिगर इन माइंड, एंड आई एम क्वाइट क्लियर लाइक आई हैव टू अचीव दैट फिगर. इट इज़ अ लर्निंग एक्सपीरियंस, and I'm hopeful that I'll achieve the targets which I've set for myself and my company.
मेरा नाम भूपेन हुड्डा है. मेरी कंपनी का नाम शारदा केबल ट्रेस प्राइवेट लिमिटेड है और ये पुणे महाराष्ट्र में स्थित है. हमारी कंपनी केबल ट्रे मैन्युफैक्चरिंग करती है, जिसमें GI, MS, SS, FRP और एल्यूमिनियम टाइप की केबल ट्रेज हैं. मेरी कंपनी स्टार्ट हुई 2011 से स्टार्ट की है, जो कि मैंने 3 साल तक की ट्रेडिंग किया था. और 2015 में मैंने मैन्युफैक्चरिंग स्टार्ट किया. मुझको थोड़ा सेल्स में चैलेंजेस था, इसलिए मैंने अक्षय सर का 10 दिन का सेशन स्टार्ट किया. इसमें मुझको मेरे बहुत से डाउट्स जो है वो क्लियर हुए। उसके 1-2 महीने बाद मैंने सर का पर्सनल एडवाइस सेशन स्टार्ट किया, जिससे कि मेरे को जो चैलेंजेस थे सेल्स में, सेल्स बढ़ाना है या मेरे को मेरा टारगेट कैसा अचीव करना है और कस्टमर को प्रॉम्प्ट टाइम पे सर्विस, ये सब के बारे में मेरे को उन्होंने नॉलेज दिया। तो ऐसे करते मेरे को सर के साथ 3 सेशन अभी कंप्लीट हुए और मैं आगे भी इनके साथ अच्छा काम करने का है और मुझे अपना टारगेट अचीव करने का है। और सर ने मुझको बहुत अच्छी एडवाइस दी है, जैसे मेरे को प्रमोशन कैसे करना चाहिए, यूट्यूब पे प्रमोशन कैसे करना चाहिए, मेरी कंपनी इस लेवल पे जाने के लिए मुझको क्या क्या एफर्ट्स लगाना चाहिए। तो ये मैंने अभी तक के उनसे सीखा।
Namaskar, my name is Sandeep Hindurao Shinde. My company name is SIL Electrotechnics Private Limited. We are working in the field of automation and electricals. We are manufacturing control panels and trading into control panels components. For this sales advisory program, why we have come here, because last 3 years we are not able to achieve the good growth, and we are stuck in some range of turnover, and we wanted to grow ourselves, and because of that we joined this sales advisory personal growth plan from Akshay sir. And so far, since last we have done around seven lectures, and in that we able to find the actual system how to develop the sales and salespersons and how to achieve the growth. And yes, it is on basic level, but I think within 1 month or so we will be on track, and definitely it will help us to grow what we are thinking.
माझं नाव स्वप्नील गुल्हाने आहे. मी B-रॅम्प ऑटोमेशनचा प्रोप्रायटर आहे. आम्ही ऑथराइज सिस्टीम इंटिग्रेटर आहे श्नायडर इलेक्ट्रिकसाठी आणि वॅगनचे ऑथराइज चॅनल पार्टनर आहोत. ॲक्च्युली सर्वात पहिले तर जेव्हा बिझनेस स्टार्ट करतो तेव्हा ट्रॅडिशनल वे सगळा बिझनेस म्हणजे चालू केला होता. त्यानंतर बरेचदा काही प्रॉब्लेम्स येत होते, स्टॅग्नंट आमची ग्रोथ राहत होती. तर त्या स्टॅग्नंट ग्रोथला पुढे नेण्यासाठी म्हणून मी SIL मध्ये सेल्स ग्रोथ मास्टरी प्रोग्राम जॉईन केला. तर त्या प्रोग्राममुळे मला इंटरव्ह्यू कसे घ्यायचे मुलांचे, तुम्ही प्रोडक्ट मार्केटमध्ये कसं सेल करायचं, कसं बाईक सायकल आहे, ह्या बाबतीत खूप गायडन्स मिळालं त्यांचं. म्हणून मग मी अजून त्याच्यासाठी पुढं ग्रोथ व्हायला पाहिजे म्हणून त्यांचं पर्सनल ॲडवायझरी जॉईन केलेली आहे. त्यामध्ये पण तुमचं बऱ्याचशा ज्या मल्टीनॅशनल कंपनीजमध्ये ज्या प्रोसेसेस असतात, ज्या ते लोक फॉलो करून ग्रो करतात तुम्ही त्यांच्या कंपनी.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. A quick question to all of you. Am I audible? If you can drop a reaction or a message in the chat box, giving me an indication that you are able to hear me. Thank you, Mr. Agrawal. Thank you, Mr. D'Souza, Mr. Savant, Yogesh, Santosh, Prashantji, thank you very much. So I think without much ado, let me first share what are we intending to cover. Okay. We have named the webinar stating that we will be sharing the ultimate secret of the sales funnel. But keeping that title in mind, learning objectives that we would like to achieve by, let's say, in next 60 minutes is that I want all of you to gain an understanding of the steps which are involved in a sale. I'm repeating, I want all of you to gain an understanding of the steps which are involved in a sale, and also internalize the prospect management process. If you can internalize the prospect management process, this will help you to shorten the sales cycle, and it will help you to become competitive in today's competitive environment. I will also share with you certain tips with the help of which you will be able to develop your sales communication skills, which are needed to effectively handle various customer situations. And if you can understand what are the stages which are required in a sales funnel, I think you will be able to navigate well and make your sales cycle or your revenue generation cycle or your cash cycle a little predictable one. So with that learning objective in mind, are we ready to go? Are you excited to learn? Fantastic. So thank you, Santosh. What I'm going to do now is share with you a step-by-step journey on how you can define your sales funnel. Thank you, Prashantji. Thank you, Prakashji. Identify the sales funnel. So first, let me demystify what the sales funnel is all about. If you look at a sales funnel, and where is this term coming from? It's coming from that it's a process where you are converting your probable customers into customers and clients. And looking at the shape of the funnel, we have it became very common that people started using the word sales funnel, because the shape, if you look at the shape of the funnel, the top part of the shape of the funnel is broad, and that's what happens in a sales exercise also. You end up meeting a more number of customers, and then they go through a funneling process at various stages, and ultimately a few orders or few clients you get out. So let me share my screen. I want you to support me by doing the following. I want you to give me a gift before we begin, and that gift is a gift of attention, where you focus on what I am sharing with you. And in case if you find that what I am covering is not understood and it needs more clarity or more awareness about it, you can keep on dropping your questions. There is a Q&A box at the bottom. You can drop your questions there. And at the end, whatever questions that you have dropped, I will attempt to answer all those questions. Is that a fair ask? Can you give me feedback? Yeah. So do you identify that there is a Q&A button at the bottom, which you can use? The only request that I'm making is that since there are so many people who have joined, do not drop your questions in the chat box. You can drop your responses in the chat box, and you can drop your questions in the Q&A box, so that it becomes a little easier for me also to focus on When you are responding to my questions, I'll look at the chat box. And when you are asking a question, I'll look at the Q&A box. That will help us navigate in this journey. A little brief about myself. My name is Dr. Akshay Seth, and I will be the representative and a navigator from School of Inspirational Leadership today. And the topic that we are covering is understand the various stages which are involved in the sales funnel and understand the entire prospect management process. So with that one objective, we will be spending roughly 60 minutes with each other. And I want to make an offer to you that if you pay attention and stay with me for 60 minutes, I have an offer to make to you that the program that we sell at 999 rupees, I'm again repeating 999 rupees, will be given to you free of cost. Okay, so those who are there and attentive, which our backend team would be able to navigate seeing your responses, we will be offering you a free gift at the end. And what that gift would be will only be shared to those people who will remain with us and remain attentive with us and are seekers and learners who are willing to spend their time, effort, and attention. We will give them an offer free of cost to you. So let's begin the journey now. What I would be doing right now is I'll be attempting to share my screen. And I want all of you to give me a confirmation in the chat box. Now, since you are responding, use the chat box. And you can give me a confirmation that you are able to see the screen. Are you able to see the screen now? If you are able to see the screen clearly, say yes in the chat box. Very good, excellent. So what do we need to do is to share the screen. And then let's start focusing on a few things. Before I share and move or take a step towards achievement of learning objectives of today's session and help you understand the entire prospect management process or the steps which are involved in the sales funnel or the stages of the sales process, with that objective in mind. But before I do that, I had certain reflections. When I was preparing the session for today, or I was preparing myself to get ready for today's session, I had the following reflections. And the reflections are, a lot of people have this misconception that adding salespeople is what grows revenue. A lot of people think that if you continue to add number of people, add their target, add their number, define their growth goals, it will end up resulting in increase of revenue. I'll talk more about that a little later. That's a misconception. I want to make it clear to you now that it's a misconception. There are many factors involved, and I'll share with you the factors. I am also of a belief that for a businessman, for a business owner, what every business owner wants, including me, is that our revenue cycle should be predictable. Whether it is going northwards, which means moving up, or it is not moving in the desired direction also, at least it should be predictable. And a lot of people go through a lot of stress because they do not know how to predict their sales cycle. How many of you feel that? If you are a business owner, say yes in the chat box. If you feel that that's one of the big challenges that we have, all of us. And there are three keys to predictable revenue. There are three important aspects if you want to create a predictable prospect management process or revenue cycle. And I thought, let me, before we talk about the 6 steps which are involved in the sales funnel, I wanted all of you to understand what are the 3 keys to predictable revenue. Any guesses? If you have any guesses, I would wait for your responses for 60 seconds. I want all of you to respond back in the chat box. What do you think are the 3 keys to predictable revenue? Use your experience, reflect on that, and share with me in the chat box what are the 3 keys to predictable revenue. So one response has come from George, which says long-term business. Okay. Somebody says proper execution planning. Mangesh says planning. Vikas says constant sales. What else? I'll wait for 10 more seconds and then we start. Process of sales. Identifying the right customers. Prediction of, I don't know what you're writing, Bharatji, because I think you typed and you pressed enter because you wrote prediction of, and clarity and scalability, market survey. हमने जितना सब पता था सब बता दिया. So let me share what are the 3 keys because we have limited time and I want to obviously I will keep on asking questions so that you can think, but would not wait for long before sharing the answers as well. The first is that first thing that an owner should fix up is a predictable lead generation system. That's one important system that we should fix in our company, in whichever company that you're operating with, whatever field that you're operating in, whether you are a B2B company, whether you are a B2C company, whether you are scaling your business through a best buyer strategy, whether you are scaling your business through neighborhood strategy, whether you are scaling your business to whichever strategy that you're following, fix up lead generation system. Whatever is the system, whether you will call people, whether you will make visits, whether you will do email marketing, whether your audience is found on LinkedIn, whether your audience is there in exhibitions, whether you do road shows, whether you send direct mailers, whether you send chitti to people, whether you send WhatsApp message, whether you do bulk marketing, WhatsApp bulk marketing, SMS marketing, whatever method that you're using. It might go through a lot of trial and error in the initial part, but fix up your predictable lead generation system. Make it predictable that if this much of effort that you will put in, it will start giving you this much results. And you should measure your cost per lead, or I would call a customer acquisition cost. The second key to predictable revenue is you should have a sales development team in your organization. If you as an owner is at a stage where you yourself as a salesperson and you are self-employed in your own company, then it's a different matter. But if you are an owner in true sense who believes in growing the organization and scaling up the organization, and that's why you are here attending this webinar, you should have a sales development team. Otherwise, you will end up doing their job. And the third key is you should have consistent sales system in your organization. Are you in agreement with the 3 keys that I've spoken about? What's your reaction? Say yes, no, whatever reaction that comes to your mind. So step by step, fix these 3 things. If you do not know how to do lead generation, take help from experts. Hire an agency, but fix up these 3 systems. If you do not know how to recruit people for your sales development, take help from experts. If you do not know how to build sales system, learn and get the things implemented in the organization. If you think that's also difficult, hire an expert who can get it done for you. But these are the 3 keys to predictable revenue. So when I was preparing the preamble for this session today, I thought these are the 3 key things that I should share with you. I hope you'll find it meaningful. Let me come straight to the stages of the sales funnel. And today I'm using a common acronym which is used by salespeople for many decades. It is called SPANCO. And when I use the word SPANCO, what do I mean? S means suspect. Can any one of you tell me what is a suspect? Write down your responses in the chat box and tell me what is a suspect. Bharat Oswal says a probable buyer. Mr. Agrawal says a person who does not know us. I'll wait for 30 seconds. Please go through the journey and share what is your understanding. If you do not know, write down, I don't know, what's a suspect. Satish, sir, someone who might need our product or service, no idea, anyone, I don't know. Okay. A lot of people have written that I do not know what a suspect is, so let me answer. Any probable person or a company who can possibly be your buyer is called suspect. Bases your buyer's profile on who can be possibly your buyer and an ideal customer profile. After doing preliminary fact finding based on using various methods, you will have a list of people or companies that you want to target. Yes, Mr. Gopinath Chavan, a person who can be a potential customer. It could be a person if you are a B2C company. If you are a B2B company, then it could be a company also who can possibly be your buyer. Yes or no? An individual buyer or a company. Or it could be government also if you are doing B2G business. So first of all, fixing up, most of the people or organizations do a mistake at this stage that they do not know or they do not prepare a quality suspect list. And when I use a word quality suspect list, the deficiencies could be because of various reasons. I do not know whom to contact to. I do not know how to prepare that list. I do not know various sources from where I can get the information. I don't have skilled people who can prepare a suspect list. I don't have a system where I can log in all the suspects at one place. Various reasons. But fact of the matter is, if you want to understand the prospect management process and make sure that your sales funnel is well oiled, the first and the foremost important thing is to prepare a list of probable customers and put it at one place. Depending on the size of the company, it can be an Excel file also. It's a database. It's a suspect database. Whatever necessary information that I need should be there in an Excel file. So some common ones could be that there will be a serial number, there will be a name of the client, there will be a location. You might want to check who's the decision maker, and the various criteria for being a decision maker is articulated, their contact number, their email address. So how many of you who are part of this session today have prepared a suspect list for the year 22-23? If you have already prepared, say yes in the chat box. If you have not prepared, please promise me that you will prepare. If you have never done that, my request is please start. I'll give you a few examples. Let's say, take for example, let's say Mohan, he said, yes, we will prepare. Okay. Now let's say, take for example, I'll take some, let's say you're running a restaurant. Or let me do it the other way. Why don't you guys drop it in the chat box on what is the business that you're in? Drop the kind of business that you're in. What are the products and services that you have? Drop it in the chat box and I'll give examples of that. So I'll wait for 30 seconds. Raindrop all the people who have joined the webinar today. Write it down. What are the kind of products or services that you're selling? Shyam Maru sir, Jai Shri Krishna. Now let me pick up some examples from the people who have written. Let's say I have a solution for branding, designing, and advertising, which is of, let's say, George, or a biofertilizer company, or fire and security system. Depending on who could be your possible buyer, if it is an individual buyer, having the details of that person. If it is a company-wide, let's say you are selling home safety solutions, Priyal Jagtap, and you have 3 verticals in your company. One is a residential vertical, second is a commercial vertical, and third is a projects vertical. Then in that case, you need to have database of relevant segments also. Are you with me, Priyal Jagtap? Priyal, you have posted twice Godrej Home Safe. So I thought, yes, fantastic. So my voice is reaching. The first thing that we need to do, all of us, write down your promise that Dr. Akshay said, I promise that I will prepare a master suspect list. Write it down in the chat box. Promise to me, promise to yourself that you will make a suspect list. I am waiting for your promise. Because if you will not commit to me that you will take action, there is no point in wasting time. You may want to leave now. Because knowledge without action is philosophy. And I hope you are not spending time for philosophy lessons today. So I want all of you to commit to me that we will prepare a suspect list. I like the way Bharat Oswal has committed. Our suspect list will be ready by 15th April 2022. A very smart action plan or a commitment. Number two is called prospect. Define if suspect is a probable buyer as per your ideal customer profile. हम सस्पेक्टिंग कार खरीदते वक्त भी करते हैं, हम prospecting कार खरीदते वक्त भी करते हैं. But before I talk about that, give you examples, can all of you tell me what is a prospect? What is a prospect? Mukesh Joshi says all data is scattered, will be making. That's a recipe for disaster, Mukesh bhai. Mukesh Joshi sir, I have read your message. It's a recipe for disaster. Please don't do that for yourself. आप खुद भी परेशान होंगे, आप अपनी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में लोगों को भी परेशान करेंगे. मत करिए ऐसा. Sit down quietly, involve the relevant team members, and ensure that your suspect list is done and sorted. And it's an ongoing exercise. It is not a one-off exercise. It is an ongoing exercise. You will search for new people and keep on building that funnel. Yes or no? So let's look at prospect. जिन suspects के साथ आप अपना appointment book कर लें, वो स्टेल स्टेज में सस्पेक्ट से क्या हो जाता है, प्रोस्पेक्ट हो जाता है. Where you decide that here is a person who's worth spending time with, you seek an appointment, and to move from sales suspect to prospect, you've got a firm appointment with man. Now here man does not mean a male or a female discrimination. Man is an acronym that I'm using for a decision maker who has got the money, authority, and need. So you decide from that list who is worth spending time with, and you start seeking appointments with people. Are you guys with me? Are you able to understand? Yeah, yeah, 30,000 above the sea level ja raha hai. Is it clear? If what I'm saying to you and you are in sync with the speed or the explanation that I'm giving, say clear in the chat box. Say clear in the chat box. All well, fantastic, very good, very good. I hope all of you are listening because I saw very few responses. I want all of you to respond so that I know, one, we are doing an online session. Second, I'm not getting a chance to see each other. So fantastic, very good, excellent. Let's look at the third stage. From the people you make an appointment, you go and approach them. And in that meeting, you do all the things. You open a call, you understand the need, you develop the need, you propose your solution, and then you agree with the decision maker on what needs to be done to make a decision. A successful sales call only happens when the customer makes a well-informed, mutually beneficial decision. And our job as a salesperson is to go, introduce who we are, introduce where are we coming from, which is our company, product, company and organization, and state the objective of why we are there. So that when you open the call, the customer knows what will be accomplished during the sales call. Then obviously you will ask questions, you will probe, you will understand the need, all of that happens. But once your sales call reaches to a stage where you agree with the decision maker, what needs to be done to make a decision, that's when you have moved that client or that prospect to approach stage. Have you guys understood? Have we all understood the three stages? Yes or no? If you have understood, can we move forward? Are you okay if I move to the next stage? Because there is a lot that I wanted to share with you. Santosh, approach is where you go and do the following. You open the call, you understand the need, and you agree with the decision maker by proposing a path that you can satisfy the need, and you agree with the decision maker on what needs to be done to make a decision. Which means in principle agreement हो गया है कि ये मेरी need है और ये आपका solution है, and it's matching with my requirement. Santosh, is it clear? The client conversation is happening here. All the sales communication skills that are required to open a call, to probe, to support, to close, all of that comes in handy at this particular stage. Let's look at the next stage, negotiate. Can somebody tell me what is negotiate? What is the difference in between approach stage and negotiate stage? Hello? Can somebody respond now on what is a difference in between approach stage and negotiate stage? How will we get to know that we have moved now from approach to negotiate? Negotiate stage is when you have covered all objections, all apprehensions, all queries, all indifferences, and you have answered those questions which you have uncovered in the previous stage, and you have reached to a consensus that there is nothing left to do but to ask for the order. That's when you will move to negotiate stage, because listening to this word negotiation means, listen to this carefully. Whenever you meet a customer, you have your agenda and customer has their agenda. Your agenda could be that I want to introduce my company, introduce my product, introduce my service, understand the need, making a presentation, making an offer, and stuff like that. The client's agenda could be that they want to understand your credibility, your organization, whether you will be able to serve their requirement or not. Their agenda could be to evaluate you as one vendor out of the 3-4 choices that they have and stuff like that. If this agenda and this agenda are at odds और आपस में तालमेल नहीं बैठा है तो क्या होगा? अगर ये एजेंडा आपका और ये एजेंडा कस्टमर का आपस में अलाइन नहीं हुआ तो क्या होगा? What will happen? What will that lead to? Then closing will not be possible. It's not going to work. Absolutely. Absolutely, George. It's not going to work. So all the skills which are required to answer the queries, to convince them, to elicit information, to handling objections, to handling negotiation, all of that will come in handy here. Then the next stage is closing. What is closing? You here ask for the order and close all necessary documentation. And you agree with the client on what would be the next steps of working together. And once you receive the formal written order, you have moved from negotiate to closing. Hello, is that understood? A lot of people in their sales training programs as trainers at times make this mistake that they actually define order as closing or closing as order. But when you receive formal written order, that's closing stage and that's not the order stage. If you have a CRM where you are logging in these requests and you are wrongly punching in, then your predictable revenue cycle can go for a toss. अगर आपने गलत डिफाइन कर लिया कि कौन सा क्लोज स्टेज पर है, कौन सा ऑर्डर स्टेज पर है, तो आपकी एक्सपेक्टेशन की कब रेवेन्यू आएगा वो भी बदल जाएगी. And that wrong forecasting can lead to disaster in the company. Why? Because all the planning post the revenue comes into the company and all the forecasting for execution and expenses can go wrong completely. Do you all agree? And last but not the least, order. Order is a stage where you actually implement the order, which means you do ongoing follow-up, you search for feedback of new opportunities, and you collect money or all your dues and payments. I called you for this webinar, and at the start, I made an offer to you that I will be explaining you all the stages of the sales funnel. Has that objective been met? Have you understood what are the stages in the sales funnel? Yes or no? If you have clearly understood, say a big yes. Those who have joined late, I will do one more round explanation in the next slide. And I want to tell you that if you will stay with me till the end, I have an offer for you that a program that we sell at 999 rupees, that link and access to that program will be given to you free of cost. But we will reward only those people who will give a gift of attention. So stay connected. Let me share with you in detail. The next slide. In the last slide, I had only explained activity and criteria to meet. Here I have further bifurcated and shared with you the methodologies that you can use, with the help of which you can use all the sub activities that you need to do. I will talk about this in detail a little later, because if I start covering that, we will not be able to achieve the full objective that we are here for. So a journey of a businessman or a journey of a salesperson starts with getting business from founders relationship or organic market. In our sales growth community that we run for people who have already attended a sales mastery program, a lot of people have told me this, that we don't need any marketing because the business comes from references only. Founder, over a period of time, 15 years, 20 years, 10 years, they build relationship and organically some form of marketing happens. But one of the symptoms that I have seen in that body of that organization is that their revenue cycle is not predictable. And if you want to proactively grow on a path and you want to create a sales growth blueprint, then you have to do or follow certain systems with the help of which you can get predictable growth. And the journey to move from this side to this side is where Sales Mastery program helps you. Some misconceptions. Number one, a lot of owners and sales managers think that you add number of people and make them work very hard is what grows revenue. Another misconception, another fact, rather not misconception, is lead generation causes new customer acquisition. If you do not have a predictable lead generation system, you will find that the new addition in your funnel will not happen. The third fact, the thing which people do not understand is that most of the organization ask their senior most people to do prospecting or search for new business. And my advice to all of you is that experienced people most of the time are terrible at prospecting. Now the experienced people grows up in the rank, and when they reach a particular level, their salary is highest or higher. And you are asking them to do something which will be the lowest value activity. And their own egos come into play. Experienced salespeople actually hate to prospect. उनको चाहिए होती है टीम जो prospecting करके दे दे, एटलीस्ट अपॉइंटमेंट फिक्सअप करके दे दे. और अगर आप अपने सीनियर मोस्ट आदमी को ये एक्सपेक्ट करोगे कि वो अपना अपॉइंटमेंट भी खुद बुक करे, तो अभी आप सेल्स सिस्टम डेवलप नहीं कर रहे हो. It is a recipe for attrition. As soon as salespeople generate some pipeline, they become too busy to prospect. And it's not a sustainable model. क्योंकि उसके दिमाग में ये कंफ्यूजन आ जाता है कि मैं पहले जो ऑर्डर करीब में आ गया है उसको क्लोज करूं कि नया ढूंढूं. तो फनल के किस साइड पर काम करूं उसका कंफ्यूजन हो जाता है. And that person becomes a ping pong ball. So what is my advice here? What should we do? Any guesses? All of you. अगर ये चैलेंज है तो ठीक क्या करना चाहिए अपनी कंपनी के अंदर? अगर हमें प्रेडिक्टेबल रेवेन्यू चाहिए तो क्या करना चाहिए? चैट बॉक्स में बताइए क्या करना चाहिए? विकास, आपका आंसर है हैव मिक्स ऑफ सेल्स पीपल. क्लैरिफाई मोर. What should we do? We should have a team or at least one person to begin with who can continuously only do the pre-sales activity. Also understand that marketing cycle requires a lot of or lead generation requires a lot of patience, experimentation and money. Please treat sales and marketing differently. A lot of people do not invest in marketing. A lot of business owners, especially MSME business owners, do not invest in marketing because they expect कि आज मैंने Facebook पर ad campaign चलाया तो कल result आ जाना चाहिए. You can use various methods. You can use marketing through teaching method via regular webinars, articles, white papers, email newsletters, live events to establish yourself as trusted expert in your space. You need to have patience in building word of mouth as well. You need to have a system to do outbound prospecting also. You can build an affiliate partner system where someone else does prospecting for you. You can use PR, press releases also. In the sales mastery program, I teach 7 musts of marketing to do lead generation. I have some questions for you. Number 1, please respond back yes or no in the chat box. Do your executive team know how much new pipeline the company needs to generate per month? I'm not talking about revenue. I'm talking about leads that they need to generate per month. For those of you who have not set that system right, please fix that system right first. Is the new pipeline generated per month number tracked at the board level? Which means the executive committee of the company knows how many new pipeline has been generated per month. So the division of existing revenue and new revenue is done at the board level. Number 3, are there a common definition of prospect, leads and opportunities in the company? If there is any confusion in the team, कि किसको हम prospect बोलेंगे, किसको lead बोलेंगे, किसको opportunity बोलेंगे, that leads to inefficiencies in the organization. And I want to ask you a question. I want all of you to respond back in the chat box. What is holding you back from generating more leads and more predictable revenue? Write down your answers. I'll wait for 60 seconds. What is holding you back from generating more leads and more predictable revenue? Share all the challenges that you have right now. Do you think it's the market condition or economy, a lack of money, not having the right people, technology hurdle, etc.? The question is, what is holding you back from generating more leads and more predictable revenue? Viral Savla says all of the above. While I'm laughing, I am empathizing with you, Viral. So I'm with you. I understand what you're saying and the space that you're operating from. A lot of people have written not having the right people, the right people and the right people. And a lot of people also say lack of money because it's a common excuse for not being creative. Gopinath Chavan, if they are non-serious, why are you calling them opportunities and leads? So that's where I said that are there a common definition? Because not being able to identify what the leads are can result in wasteful efforts. What is required? A wholly committed person. Second, you need tools and dashboards. Third, you need freedom to experiment. Fourth, you need an optimistic attitude. Next, you need a commitment to create. And you may be using various methods. You may be using cold calling method. You may be making the field salespeople do cold calls, means having your highest call sales resource perform the lowest value activity. अगर आप ये mistake कर रहे हैं तो please, it's a blunder. In your sales team, please develop respected experts who are not pushy salespeople, and for that training is an investment which is required. Have a system to qualify accounts and contacts before calling. And for that, you may have to define what companies are the most similar to the top 5 to 10% of your customers. This is called a best buyer strategy, and I teach 5 strategies in detail in the Sales Mastery program. This is one of them. How to do that. Also, the people who can research rather than sell. You can have an mobile optimized marketing automation system, whether it is email, whether it is WhatsApp, whether it is any social media. You also have to find out the right fit Salesforce automation software that suits your company needs, so that the dashboards are there. So what is needed? A short, targeted top 5 to 25 list of vital accounts or channel partners, depending on what kind of business that you're in. You need their current customer base. Focus your highest value people on low volume but high value activities. And the steps are, number 1, at least one person in the organization is dedicated to prospecting, whose job is to only fix appointments. I want to tell you that please take that step. That is going to ease a lot of pressure in the system. You need a Salesforce automation software. If your prospects is using emails, then an email marketing campaign. If they use some other thing, ensure that there is a marketing calendar. You also need to have a proven product or service that has generated revenue. तो अगर product में mistake है, तो पहले उसको ठीक करिए. And the lifetime value of the product needs to be calculated. Look at the steps. If you want to acquire clients and do lead generation, step number 1 is to get clear on your ideal customer profile. First, you should know who your ideal customer is. हम कार चुनते हैं, घर चुनते हैं, अपना शादी के लिए पार्टनर चुनते हैं. We do profiling in our head. But when it comes to identifying our clients, we don't sit down quietly and do a ideal customer profiling. 2, build your list. Do you have decision makers on your list? How targeted is your list? Is it cluttered with non-relevant companies or people? अगर ऐसा है और 3rd number का problem है, तो correct करिए उसको. You can run outbound email campaigns. You can sell. You can pass the baton to other people. And your ideal customer profile should have the following characteristic. Wherever the likelihood of winning is high and the revenue potential is also high, that's your ideal customer profile. Don't waste time with those people where the likelihood of winning is low and the revenue potential is also low. Because choosing the right prospect is also important to generate more revenue. तो आपको आइडियल कस्टमर ढूंढने, आइडियल इंडस्ट्री ढूंढनी पड़ेगी, आइडियल कंपनीज ढूंढनी पड़ेंगी, उसके अंदर फंक्शनल टीम्स ढूंढनी पड़ेंगी, उसके अंदर इन्फ्लुएंसर्स ढूंढने पड़ेंगे, उसके अंदर बिजनेस चैलेंजेस ढूंढने पड़ेंगे, तब जाकर आपकी सेल्स पेज ठीक होगी. तो मैंने बॉटम ऑफ द पिरामिड बनाया है ये बताने के लिए कि अगर आपको सही प्रोफाइल चूज करनी है और स्मार्ट टारगेटिंग करनी है तो आपको इंडस्ट्रीज ढूंढनी पड़ेंगी, उसके अंदर कंपनी ढूंढनी पड़ेंगी, उसके अंदर फंक्शनल टीम्स ढूंढनी पड़ेंगी, उसके अंदर इन्फ्लुएंसर्स ढूंढने पड़ेंगे, उसके अंदर चैलेंजेस, प्रॉब्लम्स, डिफिकल्टी, डिससैटिस्फैक्शन चुनना पड़ेगा, एंड देन यू विल बी अ राइट फिट. तब आपका निशाना सही जगह जाकर लगेगा. अगर आप ईमेल मार्केटिंग कर रहे हो, देन यू हैव टू फिक्स द सिस्टम. और जो भी आप मार्केटिंग का तरीका यूज करो, यू कैन फिक्स दैट. बट द फैक्ट इज, who is the best point of contact and when is the best time day for a quick discussion around. After that, you have to fix up your sales process, which is the stages of the sales funnel that I spoke about, which is there in the Spanco model. Then you can ask your question, does the company fit our ideal customer profile? Are we speaking with someone who's the right audience in the organization? Is there a clear interest in the next step? Is it the best choice? Is it okay? Or are we the last option? And then build the sales cycle management. If you go after wrong prospects or do poor messaging, then your sales funnel will never grow. If you do not have a sales process in your organization, it will never lead to predictable revenue generation. If you have a fantastic sales process but don't use it, your company will not scale up. If you are selling selfishly rather than solving and becoming a problem solver for your clients, your company will not grow. If you are selling too low and not to the right people, then you will always face price pressure. If you have got a poor understanding of your client's buying process and the applications of your product in the client organization, then your company will not grow. If you don't care about your clients, your company will not grow. If you tell instead of showing, because benefit sells and feature tells. If you are barking up a dead horse and you are wasting too much of time with those accounts who are not giving you, who are not your ideal customer profile, and the likelihood of winning is less, then you're wasting and barking up a dead horse. Many organizations use different types of leads. Some people call it seeds, some people call it nets, some people call it spears. Seeds are who take a lot of time to cultivate, but once they get going, they are unbeatable with the highest conversion and close rates. Seeds are created by creating happy customers, organic search, internet search, search engine optimization, your PR activity that you do, the communities that you build, the social media marketing that you do, and you publish expert content on various platforms. Nets are classic marketing programs in which you are trying to cast a wide net and see what you get, whether through email marketing, conferences, or pay-per-click marketing. Marketing has always been like casting a net in the ocean. If you cast in the right manner, you will get fishes. But if you will cast your net in the ocean in a wrong manner, then you will get shoes or sandals. Third is peers. You do targeted outbound effort that requires some individual effort. I teach all of this in the Sales Mastery program. And those who are interested to learn how to generate the sales funnel in detail, understand this, I take 10 days of 2 hours each, 20-hour session to explain this entire process. Sales Mastery program is a journey that begins with 10-day session of 2 hours each. A lot of people ask me that the community, we have already completed 30 batches of Sales Mastery program. People ask me, is it a recorded session or a live session? So it's a live session. I also have spoken to 300 or more than 300 people, 1 hour of interaction to do my own research. What do? I listen to people, listen to their language of needs, and further customize my program. We have prepared 39 videos on each concept for repetition. You get a chance to become a part of a sales growth community. It is the fastest growing community in the country as far as sales growth is concerned, where owners from different cities, different countries get together and become a part of the sales growth community. What do we do in that sales growth community? Those people who have already attended sales mastery program, they become eligible for becoming a member of sales growth community. And what do they get out of it after 10 days? They are allowed to attend one session per week for the rest of our lives. So those who have joined the batch number 1 of sales mastery program, and let's say if I have been doing this for the last 2 years, they have already got an opportunity to attend 100 programs of 1 hour each. Every Sunday from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., we handhold them, we coach them, we teach them, and we answer their questions. Why? Because I believe that those people who are selling their programs online or selling education online are thinking that by doing a 2-day program or a 3-day program or a 4-day program, you can generate 5x, 10x revenue. I want to warn all of you with these kind of promises. Why? Because training is a process, not an event. Those who are serious for their investment, they need to walk together after the program also. I'm sure you must have noticed that if I have shared with you 3 things or 6 things today, the sales funnel pieces, you may still want more clarity on that. How do I drive my Sunday sessions? Community tells me what is the session that they need to learn, and we choose topics accordingly. So it's an ongoing, lifelong learning journey and not a 10-day program, which means you pay once for the program and then you become member of the community. I give them tools, unlimited tools. We are giving them 10 tools to implement once per session, and as we progress on Sunday sessions, we continue to give them tools. I make a promise at the start of the sales mastery program that these are the 26 things that we will cover, so that they have a measurement checklist. With the help of it, they can measure their own progress path post the program and keep on talking to me about it. And I've already spoken about the 1 hour learning session. Those of you who are interested in joining the sales mastery journey and are looking for a coach, if you are only interested in knowledge, then YouTube and various other sources are there. But if you want to hire me as a coach and you want me to walk with you for 10 days in a live environment, answer your questions, help you set up the sales process in your organization, and then when you are actually implementing after getting inspired, want help and hand-holding at that stage also, then come and join. Here is an invitation for you. Come and join the Sales Mastery program. The link is already there in the chat box. I am starting the 31st batch of Sales Mastery program on 19th of April. And the first 10-day learning journey will end on 29th of April. The timing would be from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Total 10 days, total hours, 20 hours. You will get a personal consultation of 1 hour each. This is what you will get out of it. For those of you who have arrived at the decision, I want all of you who are interested in spending their time, effort, and money. Then the fees of the program is 9,999 rupees. Drop a yes in the comment box. Those who are interested in being with me in this journey of becoming a sales magnet. So drop a yes in the chat box, and or you can click on the link and directly pay as well. As I made a promise to you, at the start that those people who are joining today's session, as they say, sharing is caring. I promised you that those who will stay till the end, we will give you a link of a program to experience our product and services. So there is a CPC program. Usually we sell it at 999 rupees, but because you took the decision of listening to this program, sat patiently, asked questions, we are giving you this free of cost. So can I ask Diksha if you can share the link? This is the bonus as we committed. This is a CPC module course link. You can click, go to the SIL University. It will take you to that page. After clicking, I want all of you to attend this course. I will share with you on my screen on how this program will look like. This program will take you to a page where there is a free power session available for you. And there are 3 lessons in that program. And you will have access for the next 365 days. I'm sure all of you who will attend and join the sales mastery journey, which is starting on 19th of April, and also the bonus, will find it meaningful. At the end, I will wait for 7 minutes. And if you have any questions now, my request is close your eyes, reflect on the kind of questions that you would like to ask. Take a minute, drop your questions in the Q&A box, and I would take them right now live. I will try any challenges that you are facing to set up your sales process in your organization. So you can ask your questions now. I will attempt to answer. So here is the first question. Okay. Let me read out the questions directly. Okay. So somebody has written that I have joined late, and I had joined late, and the challenge that we face is that you spoke about suspect. What is a suspect? So a suspect is whether a particular company or department is worth spending time with, and you wish to proceed because that company or the client has the potential. That's what a suspect is. I hope I have answered your question. Another question that has come is, what are the quality input required for doing quality suspecting? What are the actions required in doing quality suspecting? My answer is that there are 5 things that you need to do suspecting. Number 1, you need to build your skills to get on the spot appointments, whether it is telephonic skills, whether it is writing skills, and how do you create a general benefit statement with the help of which you can introduce your organization or your product or service in a manner that the other person may get interested in. Second, you need to develop probing skills. Your ability to understand and develop customer need is the key. Third, you need to brush up your company knowledge, your product knowledge, and your competition knowledge, your market knowledge. And you also need to develop knowledge and applications for various applications. And last but not the least, increase knowledge and awareness of your own territory. I hope I have answered your question. One last question which is mentioned is, that's not a question, that is written, we started using CRM for last 2 years and now we are getting information on Mondays. So thank you, Bharat sir. That's not a question, that's a feedback that he gave in the Q&A box. So let me type the answer. Great to know that. How do you set up a good marketing setup for an organization? Is there some session down the line? I don't know. So let me take this question live to understand what this question is. So George, you are allowed to talk. You can ask your question again. I could not get it, so let me attempt to understand your question. You can unmute yourself, George D'Souza, and ask that question. George, you will have to unmute and ask a question.
Yeah, I've done that. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, George.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
I always feel marketing is more important than sales. Hello?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah, marketing is more important than sales because I'm more into branding and I work for most of the corporates in and around Pune. So I just need to know how do you make your company as a strong marketing team?
So first of all, my quick reaction.
Huh.
First statement that you made is a very strong belief that you have.
Right.
Okay. I would shake your belief by saying that both are important.
Okay.
Okay, because if you get the leads, but do not support it by the entire sales process, whatever the sales process is, then the leads that you get do not pay salaries.
Okay.
Is it correct?
Yeah.
Leads does not pay expenses for machinery or electricity. Leads does not give you a driver for your comfort. With leads, you can't buy a wireless charger or a home for yourself.
Okay.
Which means for making it a predictable revenue system, both are important. Okay. That's why I spoke about pre-sales, during sales, and after sales. Are you with me?
Yes.
I have seen very, very strong marketing companies who are able to generate attention, who are able to generate interest, who are able to generate desire, but very poor in their execution skills.
Okay.
What will that lead to?
A disaster.
Absolutely. So first disagreement on your statement that this is more important than the rest. I understand where you are coming from, but don't keep that belief because that can destroy your entire execution process. I also feel that those who believe that are able to generate interest of a lot of people, but do not utilize full potential. So you need to have a fine balance of both the teams. Okay. All great organizations have a very strong marketing department and have a very strong sales department.
Sales.
Yeah. The second question is, how do you set up? Now there are 6 key steps for acquiring key clients. Number 1, you need to know who your customers are or who can possibly be your prospects. Possible suspects that you have. The people are, so you will go through the full cycle. If you look at very, very carefully, George, you will realize that the S and P are nothing but pre-sales. Yes, no?
Yeah.
Because your marketing also will help you to warm up your clients before you actually meet them. What do you do with marketing? You warm up your, for me, marketing is like casting a net in the ocean.
Okay.
If you cast it right, then you will get the fish, the desired fish. But if you will cast it wrong, you will get shoes or sandals or polythene bags. Yeah. If you will get polythene bags, what will that lead to? You will put in more efforts, but it will not result into revenue. Yes or no?
Yes.
Now the A and N part, if you see, are your sales conversations, which means the opening of the call, the probing that you do, the supporting that you do, and the closing that you do. When I say opening, what does it mean? You agree with the client on what will be accomplished during the call.
Okay.
You know? When I say probing, you basically understand the client needs. And a need is either a lack of something or a problem unsolved or a desire to improve or accomplish something. Yes or no?
Yes.
And if you understand need, that's where you probe. Then at an approach stage, you are also making a pitch. It doesn't happen in real life कि आप तो समझेंगे और उसके बाद जवाब देंगे. It goes like a dance in the balcony, है ना? It goes like a salsa dance. कभी आप समझते हैं, कई बार आप जवाब देते हैं, कई बार आप सारी बातें समझते हैं, उसके बाद इकट्ठे जवाब देते हैं in the form of proposal or presentation. कई बार आप एक समझते हैं, एक जवाब देते हैं, दूसरी नहीं समझते, दूसरा जवाब देते हैं. कोई ऐसा सेट फॉर्मूला नहीं है. It's a logical framework, but not a rigid sequence. Yes, no?
Okay.
And then after you do probing and supporting and you make a pitch, you ask for an order. Yes, no?
Yes.
So that is where A and N is. And what is closed then? You basically ask for the order. And O is order to cash, which is if your organization's product is not good or the implementation of that. Let's say you pick up a branding order of a company. You make a very jazzy, sleek presentation. You mesmerize the audience and they met George and they are very happy. But the team who's working on the branding guidelines
Can't deliver.
What will that lead to?
Disaster.
So you are actually agreeing on the fact that both are important. Yeah.
Right.
But to an extent, I would say that lead generation is equally important. Yeah. So does that answer your piece? So you need to go through, you need to create 3 key things. If you, I don't know whether you were there at the start or not. I
was there from the start.
So let me go back and point your attention towards a particular area. Listen to this carefully. These are the reflections that I had, that 3 things needs to be fixed. You need to have a system of doing a predictable lead generation.
Okay.
You need to have a sales development team which is skilled, and you need to have consistent sales systems. And if you have a challenge of any of these 3 areas in your organization, that's where I made an offer that if you want to go through this, in the free program, we only give a trailer. But if you want to invest and understand this in totality, then be a partner in this journey of not only 10 days, but walk through with each other for the rest of our life, where we keep on answering each other's question and keep on learning from each other. Okay. It's a learning journey, not a program that I'm selling. Yeah. Because I feel that sales and marketing is a journey of a human being.
That is it, throughout your life.
You will evolve as you grow in the organization.
Yes.
Yeah. And for that, understanding where you are and understanding where you want to go is where the real magic is. So that's it from my side. I hope I have been able to attempt to answer your question, George.
Yes, sir.
Anything else you would want me to clarify?
No, that's fine. Can I come sometime down and see you?
It would be difficult to physically start meeting people in the webinar. I'm sure you will appreciate the fact, but definitely with a prior appointment, we can.
A prior appointment, and then I want to start the courses after that.
My team member, I will ask Diksha Sharma.
Okay.
To reach out to you. Her number is already there in the chat box.
Okay.
And at an appropriate stage, she will fix up an appointment.
Fine, sir.
Yeah, I'm not sounding rude right now.
No.
It's practically impossible for me to everyone. I have interacted with more than 10,000 people now in the last 1 year.
I just have to gather confidence.
However, once you are there in the community, we meet at least once a week from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m.
Basically, I need to get my confidence that I will go ahead by doing all this.
Absolutely, your choice. You have all the options. You go through our social media handle, talk to our sales team member, take references, talk to them whether they have found it beneficial. If your confidence level goes up, then only you should take the risk.
No, I have met someone who's done a good job with you and is grown. I've seen him growing up.
Who's that person, if I may ask?
John.
Oh, John D'Souza. Yeah.
JC.
Yeah, he's one of the initial batch students.
Right. You should talk a lot about
take references if you find his advice meaningful to you. And that helps you to scale up your confidence level.
I've seen his confidence also going up, his business also going up.
I want to say to you that if the student is ready, the coach will appear.
Yes, sir. I'll do that.
Yeah. Wish you all the best. 19th of April is the date. Bye.
Yes. Okay.
I'm just removing the permission to talk. Thank you very much for joining on this small talk, George. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
So that's it from my side. I have a lot of wishes for you. May each one of you become a multi-million-dollar sales magnate. I hope that the learning objectives that we started with explaining what is a sales funnel, what are the different stages, what are the secrets, what do you need to do at each of these stages is covered during the session today. Loads and loads of wishes for you. May you stay positive and attract the right set of energy which is required, whether it is in your team, your clients. Stay healthy, stay safe. I'm signing off. My name is Dr. Akshay Seth. I'm a sales growth specialist. Happy to serve all of you once again. Bye-bye. And thank you, my team, for organizing this. Thank you very much, Diksha. Thank you, the team at the back end. Thank you, Utkarsh. God bless. God bless.
I got a lot of ideas, influenced my life also. Very good experience to be with you. Got to know how to move forward in life by the methods you have taught us.
एक चीज सीखने को मिली, सब प्रैक्टिस मेक अ मैन परफेक्ट। सब मेहनत करेंगे तो सर आगे सफलता मिली और सर सारी चीजें करी जा सकती है, सब पॉसिबल है।
It was an insightful experience. The first thing what I liked is for the first time I understood if we have to do something better, we have to ask the better questions in the life without understanding the methods which are behind that.
Overall, it was very nice experience. What I learned is organizing ourselves, which is most important. It was very wonderful session. The topics you discussed with us, it was very detailed.
Knowledge what you have given to us, whatever we desire, we can program it in our mind. We can program it to ourselves. That was the best thing.
आपने बहुत अच्छी तरीके से टाइम को कैसे मैनेज करने का है, उसकी स्ट्रैटेजी कैसे हैंडल करें, तो ये 10 दिन मेरे लिए बहुत अच्छे रहे।
ये प्रोग्राम बहुत सारे मिथ ब्रेकिंग टाइप का है। अब मैं काफी ऑर्गेनाइज हूँ।
प्रोग्राम डिजाइन और इम्प्लीमेंटेशन बहुत ही एक्सलेंट था। क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं इसलिए दोनों साइड से कंट्रीब्यूशन होता है, तो ये बहुत इफेक्टिव हुआ। बहुत सारी चीजें थे कि जिसको देखने का या सोचने का नजरिया वो बदल गया।
कोई भी मॉड्यूल हो या कोई भी सब्जेक्ट हो, उसका इम्प्लीमेंटेशन ये करना ही है। प्रोफेशनल अगर होना है कोई भी चीज में, तो वो सारी प्रोसेस फॉलो करना पड़ता है।
Much more than sales mastery, this course is about overall life mastery. Fortunate and grateful to have learned from you, Akshay sir. प्रोग्राम बहुत बढ़िया लगा।